though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Gunnar, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to PSGL for round 5 around Austria. I, for one, cannot wait to get started with this bad boy. I've been looking forward to this race all week, and finally, it's the time has dawned on us. It's looking good, and I just want to get started because we know the margins around here are super close. But of course, I'm Josh. I'm joined by my lovely co-host or co-commentator, Alex, as well. So, where do we even start with this week?
Hi, Josh. Hello, everyone. First of all, Josh, why are you wearing a hat?
Oh, I forgot to take it off, mate. It's fine.
Josh, take the hat off.
Do I have to?
I think you got to show the world, mate. Show the world what's underneath that beautiful blue hat you're wearing.
Some bleached hair. Oh, for those of you who aren't aware, we did a Children in Need event at university, and we raised past the expected goals. Now my hair is bleached and I'm forever stained. Yes, that's enough said.
I've got bleached hair as well, Josh, so you know it's
okay.
fine, mate.
That's alright.
I'm not judging.
Something we should be judging though is how this is going to play out, because Austria, it's very close. My camera moves as well now. It's brilliant. Look, I'll move
It's moving all the time.
It's constantly moving. It's brilliant. I've got a little cameraman. I've got like a little smurf in the background running around. But while we are here, I do believe it's about time we have a look at the driver standings. So we can see Lillian leading by just 1 point to now the full-time driver of Leo Lund. And then we've got Alexander Dimas, Rihard, Camille, Timur, Ewan, Matthew Adler, Jack Humphreys, and Oscar Villacamp around out the top 10. Now, it's very, very close at the front. Both drivers not scoring in the first round. Since then, they've been on fire.
Yeah, they really have been. Lillian especially been on fire, especially last 2 rounds, obviously in the United States or Las Vegas, and then of course in Hungary as well. But Leo, been consistent. First, third, and third. Not finished the race, not on the podium yet. So hopefully continue that streak. And a quick look at the constructor standings as well here. Alpine lead from Williams, from AlphaTauri, from Ferrari, but not a lot in it, to be fair, apart from the gap between first and second, but the rest of them are very close together.
Yeah, it's a little too close for comfort in my opinion. I'm not necessarily too much of a huge fan. Yes, Dylan, I did put bleach in my hair, and Santa Maria is racing Jack Harrington. I actually found the bleach to bleach my hair, but less about my hair for the time being, and let's introduce you guys to the wonderful world of Spielberg. Of course, you have the 10 corners around here. Very tough, very technical track. It'll be good fun to watch these drivers try and get out some fantastic laps around here. And I'm also expecting a little bit of teamwork going up the hill for a little bit of slipstream usage during this qualifying session. Now, if OBS will do its magic, there we go. It's beautiful. We got the drivers on track, and boy oh boy do we have a few drivers on the track. We've got quite a lot, which have all come out the pits, as we can see, for all jostling for position. To be quite honest, I'm not really sure which of you to go on board with at the minute, because everyone seems to want to be able to get this lap sorted, which to me, Alex, might indicate a slight drizzle of rain for the end of this session, perhaps.
Yes. I have a feeling that we were thinking the same idea. Yeah, I imagine the reason why we don't see these drivers come out very quickly often, the reason they're coming out now probably is because on their radar they've been told there is rain in maybe it's got to be in 5 minutes time, because they've all come out at once. There's only a few people left in the pits, 3 right now as the Ferraris overtake each other. It's great to see Mr. Leo Lund in his full-time seat, definitely deserved because of how good he's been this season. Let's see who's going to set their first lap time, and it looks like the Alpine is that of Lillian's going to go first for the first lap time of the session.
I believe it is. It's the only Alpine out on track. Now Lillian, around Las Vegas, dominant performance, kept the tyres in such good check. The amount of grip Lillian had throughout that entire race was absolutely insane. So it'll be very interesting to see if the setup translates across, and the knowledge and the in-depth technical aspects of making that setup for race clutch, really start to show then around Austria how well Lillian's able to keep these tyres in check as well, because we know Spielberg, it's a tyre killer.
It really is. It's a real tyre killer, and of course, very big overtaking circuit. We got basically 3 DRS zones. Sorry, down the main straight, down the 2 main straights, and down the pit straight. And Lillian is doing a great job here of keeping it in the margins as well, because of course Austria, or Spielberg, or whatever you want to call it, is known for its track limit violations, and that is probably another reason they've all come out at once, because they're all probably wanting to get a lap on the board. They probably filled up for a few laps if the rain is coming, because one slight one slight wheel over the track will cost you your lap time. But here we go, Lillian. That looks so good from the final corner. It's a 1:03.1, and that is the first lap time on the board. We got a 1:03.2 from Ewan. This is going to be close.
Yeah, I was just having a little giggle to myself there watching the car go through that final corner. So it's strange to watch a car, downshift as little, because if that was me, I'd be going down to 4th gear and trying my best to get through the corner with the car squealing its heart out as Tony Roche comes across the line for P5 as well. But I feel like this assumption we have of rain, if it is incorrect, the amount of track evolution which will take place around here is going to be otherworldly. We're going to see 2, 3, 4 attempts with each lap being done. So it'll be very interesting to sort of see how that develops and which drivers are going to be able to adapt to the track evolution quicker than others. For me personally, I'm expecting the likes of Camille, Leo Lund, Rihard, Santa Maria, Zelenkovic, and Lillian and Lenora as well, to adapt really, really quickly and really effectively to this sort of progressing state, as Rihard sets the fastest lap with a 1:03.065. Now, quick. Very quick. And there's very, I was about to say there's very few distance between them. The time... it's English. It is English.
It is English.
It's
it is English.
Incorrect.
It's just incorrect English. Yeah, But that is a rapid lap time from the 2 Alpines. So 1:03 dead pretty much from Rihard's. Will we see a 1:02 this afternoon? That's the real question. Oh!
Not with Kai sliding like that. My word. Take care of yourself, young man. You got to be a little bit more careful with that. We can't have you slipping and sliding around the joint, especially when you're trying to go for a push lap. What do you think that was? Do you think maybe that was the tyres overheating slightly, or
I think that's just a case of just putting the throttle down a bit too early. Unfortunately, of course, these drivers will all they're all fantastic drivers, as we know, but everyone makes a little mistake, and that was unfortunately Kai's mistake. Just a little bit on the throttle out of that corner, and it can just screw you over. But yeah, I'm sure he'll go again, and we'll have another lap. But here is Mr. Leo Lund, Mr. Consistent, as we're going to call him. As Lefted does a 1:03.056, which is 8 thousandths faster than Rihard's.
I'll tell you what, I've got a little petition to make for Leo, right? I don't feel like we should call him Mr. Consistency because George Russell got given that name once upon a time, and some might say he's been inconsistent this season. So
He has.
I'm gonna say Leo Lund, Mr. Podium.
Mr. Podium. Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good. Yeah,
Sorry.
he's the Max Verstappen of He's on the podium for every race so far.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw the Siva sponsorship on the side of that Ferrari, and I thought it was a barcode for a minute.
I'm not surprised they're putting barcodes on the sides of their car.
Yeah, they're not doing it yet. Keep an eye on it.
Not yet. Keep an eye on. But yeah, Mr. Leo Lund, of course, on the podium in every race we've raced this year so far, apart from the first one where he didn't compete. But as he was a reserve there, I'm not going to call the fact that is his fault.
No, absolutely not. I don't feel like you can put any pressure on him. As Sven ends up getting a 5-place grid penalty, of course, that'll mean we'll have to restart the lobby entirely, which means that...
5-place grid penalty?
Mr. Richards in chat will be able to see my new luscious blonde locks. Not looking forward to that one. But someone who is looking forward to getting this qualifying out of the way is Mr. Leo Lund. Now, despite him having very good race results over the past 4 races he's competed in here in F3, his qualifying's left sometimes a little bit on the table.
Yeah, he's definitely not been as quick in qualifying as he has been in the race, and he's currently trying to weave through traffic here. And I'm not sure if it's just because he comes out into these situations. He does like to come out into traffic quite a lot, and I don't know why it always happens. He always seems to have this thing where he does a bit of a later lap, gets caught in traffic, and then doesn't put his best lap time on the board, or he's really pushing the limits of the car through this final sector. So here comes Leo Lund crossing the line now. It's going to be a 1:03.196, which in any other league in the world would be pole position, but in our league it's only 4th.
Yeah, and you got to think as well, that's with a little bit longer of track evolution as well, compared to the likes of Rihard's, Camille, Lefted, Lillian, who, yeah, did their runs, in time with the rest of the group. Maybe a little bit later, but they still did it. And, if the track evolution is as prominent as it would seem, a 10th is quite a large gap.
Yeah, it definitely is a very large gap indeed. But Lillian going for their second lap time and matches basically left its first sector by about 0.02 of a second. DRS wide open here for Lillian, who has been on a bit of a tear so far this season, with wins leading the championship, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and looking very quick indeed. So through the middle sector, has Lillian lost any pace at all? Has they found any pace? This middle sector, careful not to invalidate on the right-hand side, and once again, basically matching that middle sector of our pole man, but it's not enough to find the pole position time. Let's see. Let's ride on board through this final corners, because this is exactly where you want to see the grip. And through the final corner, doesn't invalidate, still pushing as hard as they possibly can, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take position. It's enough to improve, but only by 59,000 of a second, not enough to take pole.
Yeah, and Dylan putting in a great point in chat. They all went out early because you can use the 4 sets of soft tyres in qualifying here.
Of course.
Alex,
yes,
I thought you did a race around Austria. Did you not use all the sets of tyres?
No, I like to leave a set of soft tyres so I could start on them. That's what I normally do around here. Starting on softs, I will say, is rather risky around this circuit. It can cause problems because, as you said, tyre wear is quite insane.
Just want to point out there as well, Matthew Adler finding 0.3 of a second. That was a really solid lap time from a Williams driver there. Something about, Matthew's been there or thereabouts during the qualifying and during the races, but a little bit of misfortunes come his way here and there. I think back to last week around Vegas as well. He was especially unfortunate getting caught up in a couple of incidents. So it'll be very interesting to see how he's really going to take Spielberg. Obviously, it's a great track for opportunity, overtaking. It's very easy. It's very prominent. You have the DRS zones, and you do have a good amount of recharge left. So for me, I feel like this would definitely lean more towards the Leo Lunds, the Matthew Adlers, the Zelenkovic's, those who really start to thrive when it comes under the pressure of racing. Very close. It's it'll be something.
And these laps are mind-bogglingly close. 0.4 separate the top 19, and less than a tenth separates the top 7.
It's no surprise, though, is it?
It's not a surprise at all.
Uh-oh. He's coming around the final corners.
Let him cook. Let this man cook. Oh, he's invalidated. He cooked too much.
Oh, and it would have been an improvement as well. Only the slightest amount.
That could be the difference between pole.
Having a look at the chat here, Alex. Seems like we've got a couple of viewers chanting for you to match me on the hair dye front.
I'm not going that. I've been that blonde before. I was that blonde originally when I dyed my hair the first time, and I really didn't enjoy it. This is why I went lighter. So, but you got to respect Josh. You know, dude does it for charity.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good cause.
So,
Having a little report that was no F1 audio. I'll tell you what. I'll just boost that one up slightly for you there.
yeah, the issue is, unfortunately, with the F1 audio, everyone, is just if Josh has it too loud, it's too deafening for him. But if he has it too quiet, you can't hear it. This is the issue. So,
you should be able to hear the engines on board now.
Right, Rahards. He needs to find 0.008 of a second to take provisional pole, which sounds nothing, but around a circuit like this, it's everything. Let's see what he can do.
Dare I say we stay on this onboard shot so we can really see the pace he goes through.
So, Rahards, into the first sector. He's found 0.015 of a second. That's enough for pole as it stands. But he wants to improve again. DRS wide open down the second DRS straight here into one of only a few corners on the circuit. Heavy braking zone, really tricky braking zone. Easy to lock a tyre there, but he's done that so well. The amount of grip he had through that corner is redonkulous. Left-hander now. We want to keep it to the left-hand side and then run it out on the right. Careful not to invalidate like that, but it's so close. He's not invalidated. He's down by 88 thousandths now in the middle sector. He's not finding the time that he needs for pole. He's got this final sector now to find it. Through the right-hander he goes, sticking it to the right-hander. Look at the grip. He has an Alpine right-hander again. He's thrown that in and it's invalidated. And would it have been enough for pole?
Yes,
it would have been. But he invalidated.
I think he's
not got it.
I think he's still got one more run. But the amount of commitment he took through that final sector, it's something else to comprehend. But someone else who's on a lap, who is
Demas.
600ths up on his lap time, is Alexander Demas here.
He's a 10th up in the middle sector.
No. I'm not trusting that. I am not trusting that in the slightest. We know how this game can be sometimes with those middle sectors and the purple. It likes to throw it up there a lot. But Demas here is going to be looking to try and pit Lefted's time. The AlphaTauri duo could be a 1-2 here with a 1:02.898. And it feels like it's only going to get quicker from here.
That is the first 1:02 lap time of the day. And he did find a 10th in that middle sector. It's an AlphaTauri 1-2. It's Demas on provisional pole as it stands from Lefted. Wow.
I'll tell you what as well. Let's feed into this narrative that I make the Alpine cars a little quicker by hopping on board with Lillian despite the lap being invalidated. Could be very unfortunate. It wouldn't surprise me if Lillian dives it straight back into the pits instead of trying to waste time. Yeah, absolutely. Smart play to do there, do you think, Alex?
I think so. 4 minutes left in the session. It's really simple to get out and do a lap time around here, as we've seen. So it shouldn't really affect Lillian too much. Who's going to be a surprise here? Do we think still got a lap time in?
I reckon.
Well, Leo's only 10th right now.
I reckon we ask chat. Who do you guys reckon is going to be able to snatch pole? Because there's very little in it between everyone. So I'd like to see some of your predictions. Looking at Sam, Elliot, Dylan, Nathan, Carlson, Lookhart as well. I'm looking at all of you, Francesco and ETA Evil. I want some unbiased predictions from those who are helping with the teams.
Bogdan's just found a 10th in the middle sector.
Oh no.
Can Bogdan find a lap time? He's 4/10 off pole, so a 10th actually isn't that much, to be fair, in his thing, but it could move him up to 3 or 4 places. Bogdan through the final corner. He doesn't invalidate as Bogdan comes towards the line now, moves him up to 12th, but that is what we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. He found a 10th of a second, and it's just put him 12th, and he's actually 1,000th off Matthew Adler's lap time.
I don't like it. It's too close to cool. It's way too close to cool. As we've got Lindhart also on a lap, but this time he'll be calling it in the pit, so we're going to have to keep an eye out of that pit exit to have a look where the driver's coming out, and it's the first McLaren of Oscar Villacampa, who looks to be leading the way for this final run. But of course, they jockey for position. We've got a couple predictions here. Lefted, we've got Leo and Bogdan in a 1-2. I'm not sure.
Oh my god, I just didn't even see this. Did we mention Lindhart's lap time? Puts him on the front row.
What? Sorry, how's he teleported there?
He's just put a lap time good enough for the front row.
Turn 3. No, he's not teleported there. A phenomenal lap time from Linhart, and I think he still might even have time to be able to dive it in the pits, put a new set of tyres, and absolutely go for it. Fantastic job there from Sixton.
Well, the Williams on the front row as it stands. This is all going to change around, ladies and gentlemen. I would not go anywhere. I would stick out the rest of this qualifying session. 2 minutes to go.
Keep your eyes
on
peeled.
The clock. Keep your eyes peeled on the lap times. We'll try and keep your eyes on everything going on. But here we go. Pray for me and Josh's voice for this final sector.
I'll tell you what. Instead of praying for us, upgrade your cockpit with a GTO Mega Racing rig. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, that's my shameless plug sorted for now. But yeah, let's keep an eye on
Expect
Oscar
more in the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Oscar Villacampos, 16th fastest at the moment. 4/10 off pole position. There is always a chance that even a 10th could move you up 3 places. Let's see what we can do. So Oscar through the first sector. Here we go. So into turn 1. You've got to keep to the right-hand side. Take us a lot of curb and then run it out. Be careful not to invalidate on the left-hand side. DRS wide open as we head down the main straight through the slight kink of turn 2 and into the heavy braking zone of turn 3. Now flick it to the right and then get the power on early. Get DRS wide open once again. Down the second main straight. Linhart has retired in the pit lane. That is his qualifying session over with. A lap time on the front row. Will it be beaten? I imagine it could be, but at the moment it puts him on a front row start. So, still on board with Oscar, as Oscar's going through the middle sector now. He's got traffic in his way, but it moves out. Middle sector, he's a 10th up in the middle sector. That could move him a few places, which would be great for McLaren and great for Oscar. So, through the final sector now, all the cars are out of his way. Let's see what he can do. He doesn't invalidate on the left. Does he invalidate on the left again? No, he doesn't. He keeps it in. Now, to the line. Oscar crosses the line. It puts him 9th fastest. Great improvement there for Oscar Villacampos.
We got Kai coming across the line now. Then directly behind Kai is Lefted as well. As Lefty's going to come across the line. Slight improvement, but it's not quite enough. We're going to see the rest of the cars start to file themselves through. It should be Zelenkovic as well. Who's also looking to really improve his lap time. 2 temps in that first sector, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. But we're going to have his teammate as Alexander Dimas coming through. The current pole sitter, will he be able to extend the gap at the front? He absolutely can. By a whole 10th of a second, Alexander Dimas, take a bow, son.
There's a Ferrari.
Brilliant.
There's a Ferrari sideways on the pit lane. Pit wall.
It's Leo.
I think it's Leo. Leo's absolutely stonked his last lap. Camille, find a lap time here. Good enough for pole. It's good enough for 5th fastest. Can't improve. Here comes Matthew Adler.
Invalidated.
He's invalidated. He crosses the line. It would have been the front row. It would have been near the front row for Matthew Adler. And the Alpines have pitted as well. They can't improve. Andreas put it 3rd fastest on the final lap. The Alfa Romeos are coming to the line now. Let's see where they can go. Ivan, followed by Wilson. They can't improve their lap times. Ivan could improve to 18th, but that's it. Goodness me. That is the final laps of the session. And what a qualifying session, which led Alexander Dimas on pole from Sixton, Linhart, Andreas Lefted, and Camille. Leo, only 14th as he had a spin on his final lap. Actually, it wasn't a spin, I believe, on his final lap. I don't think he made it to the line, and he lost it before he could make it.
The fact Dimas was able to pull 2 temps on the rest of the field, that is incredible.
6/10 separate the entire field.
I mean, welcome to PSGL F3. I mean, what do we really expect? These drivers are a world of their own, absolute class. But, honestly, I'd love to know about, you know, maybe what sort of setups they're using, whether they've gone for qualifying orientated, and whether the tyres are going to end up getting a little bit punished as we're watching the cars roll around on track here for a little bit. Do you know what I wish I was rolling in? Go
Is
on.
it?
Go on.
A GT Omega gaming chair.
Absolutely. I'd love to wheel about in that bad boy. And it's back on us, and you can look at my atrocity once again. You're welcome, I guess. But what a qualifying session. Having Alexander Dimas leading the field by 2 steps, followed by Sixten, Andreas Lopez, lefted Camille as well. Camille really looking to try and keep up some, some sort of reminiscence of the old qualifying form we saw at the start of the season. With 3 poles back to back to back. Getting a P5 here. It's looking a bit rough. It looks like a little dip and fall.
And Leo down in 13th, I believe. Or it might be a bit lower
14th.
than 13th. 14th. Oh. Obviously, we know Leo Lund's got great race pace. You can overtake around Austria. Anything can happen. It's 36 laps, which you might think, oh my god, that's going to take ages. It'll be done in a flash. You'll blink and it'll be done. It's that quick around here.
I told you about Vegas last week, flying by. You don't realise how quick it goes, and that's a 1 minute 40 lap time. This one, it's going to be like
you're going to be in the
chest blitz. It'll be horrible. You'll be trying to keep up with everything. So apologies if we do miss your favourite driver's overtake or a critical part of a race. We are doing our best, but after all, only have 1 pair of hands to be able to watch stuff with, as we are currently migrating hosts. But the race did start dry, but it did look a little cloudy. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. A little sprinkle of rain here and there.
Well, we've seen a lot of rain in Austria over the years. Only a few times in modern Formula 1, but we've seen it a lot in the past in terms of race. The only wet race I met, actually I don't think it was a wet race, a wet qualifying session around Austria was 2020, where Lewis Hamilton took a famous pole in the wet around there, and Max Verstappen, to Josh's joy, bottled it that afternoon. So. But also, of course, we should mention the man himself, Max Verstappen, the most wins around Spielberg. That's why I'm wearing Red Bull today. I'm supporting Red Bull, as always. Deserve to be there. How many wins do Ferrari have around here, Josh?
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I can tell you my most favourite memory was when Michael Schumacher deservingly won a race around here from Rubens Barrichello. Snatch it right from on the check.
On the line.
On the line.
It was almost. He almost had it, Rubens.
Yeah,
he almost had it.
Rubens, he only used 1 pedal to brake and accelerate. He didn't use both at the same time. He just used
That's always a crazy fact to me. Sorry, we get into tangents a lot when we commentate.
He did that, and he just put his foot on the wrong pedal accidentally. It happens to the rest of us, but that's why Michael won that day. There was no team orders.
That's how he won the world title that year as well. That gave him enough points to win the title. So.
Yeah, it's
it wasn't like the 3rd season or whatever.
If I just keep shaking my head, it's not happening.
It didn't happen. But hey, let's talk about.
I'll start moving. There you go.
He'll do it. Now you can see every inch of Josh's room.
Yes.
But we should mention the actual race that's going to be going on.
Yes.
Of course. Now I imagine the ideal strategy will be possibly a 1-stop, medium to hard.
No.
But Austria tyre wear is bad. Might see a couple of 2-stoppers. I think we'll see a mix of strategies, which is what we want to see. Of course, Formula 1 is way more interesting when you have a mixture of strategies. If everyone does the same thing, it's just really boring. Be different, someone. Someone start on the soft tyre and I'll love you forever.
Don't start on the soft tyre, please. Drivers, I'm begging you. Don't start on that soft tyre. Ever.
If he's at the back of the grid, you've got nothing to lose.
What do you mean?
Well, if you start on the softs at the back of the grid, then you're just going to make up places.
You can still lose 20 seconds for a pit stop.
Yeah, but you can gain that back by running a 3-stopper.
I don't like the way you're thinking.
Think about it.
No, tell him to be quiet, please.
Okay.
I'm fed up.
This is why I don't do strategy. It's not my wheelhouse.
Evidently.
I started on softs at Abu Dhabi. That's how you know I've gone mad. Didn't work.
I hope you're not in charge of any drivers.
No, I'm not.
Dylan, right now, blacklist this man. Blacklist him from ever managing any drivers in any league whatsoever.
Or racing, to be honest with you.
Richie, get the word around. Blacklist Alex.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit of a menace when I race. So.
No, I agree with Richie. I reckon it'll just be a pure 1-stopper. Don't feel like you'd be able to make the pace up with the tyre differential to get a potential 2-stopper. But obviously, if the safety car comes out, that can
Anything's
create
possible.
a whole world of opportunity. So it'll be very interesting to see if a safety car does come out, because believe it or not, Austria's got a really good rate for producing safety cars.
It does,
It's
yeah.
not always because George Russell was watching the battle between Charles and Max driving on the grass. Sometimes it's because people forget to brake. And one of the key braking points on this track, you see that segue? Is the newly named, the turn one, the loudest order.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I always found this the most challenging part of the circuit, and it's down to a basis that on the exit, sometimes the curb will kind of start pushing you back onto the racetrack, while other times, if you take it a little bit too hard, a little bit too much speed, and maybe you don't necessarily have this right, proper level of downforce, it can cause a few issues here and there. It's a bit rough. It can drag you out. It can damage your floor as well. There's so many little different things which can cause a few issues. It's certainly a little bit rough.
Yeah, and there's a vicious sausage curb on the exit, and of course of how low these cars are nowadays. If you hit that, you're basically Tony Hawking across the way.
Yeah, and let's be honest, no one really wants to Tony Hawk anything across.
No, not at all.
No, it's not the one, believe it or not.
No.
It's not
Martin
great.
Brundle, big fan of Tony Hawk's. Do you know that?
Oh, I wasn't aware. There you go.
You've suddenly got really loud, Josh. I don't know if that's just.
No,
why is that?
had a lovely person in chat saying I was a little bit quiet, so
I'm probably just really loud. I do apologise, everyone.
no, I think you're fine. I'm looking at the audio levels at the minute. Seems fine.
I'm just turning you down on Discord so I can hear
Oh,
everything.
beautiful. But something which also looks fine is the fact we've got 19 drivers in this lobby.
Yes.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone, we'll be able to get underway very shortly.
We don't have to waffle anymore.
Yes, and they have put the weather on dynamic again, so we could potentially have a little thunderstorm. Maybe even snow if we're lucky.
Snow. Well, it's snowing in the UK at the moment.
I mean, for you it is. For me, it's just horribly cold. I wish I had snow.
It is very cold. And when I say snow, it's like that much snow, like maybe that much. And it's just not worth it.
So you've had sleet.
I've had, well, it's technically, according to my weather app, it says snow. So, it looked like snow.
But
Technically, if you are,
But I want to hear from you guys in the chat as well about predictions for this race, because I'm sick of us waffling, right? We can keep yapping all day if we want, but at the end of the day, you lot want to, get a little bit involved. So feel free, come join the PSGL Discord if you're not already a part of it. Don't forget to subscribe as well here, so you can keep tuned for some more of these beautiful channels, because of course we do also have the F2, which will be starting in 28 minutes, which is a pretty good watch.
Stick with us.
But of course, until then, feel free, stick with us and come and join us on this beautiful adventure around the Austrian mountains here, because if qualifying was anything to say, I feel like we could be in for a little bit of an interesting race, as we've got one prediction in the chat from Zach, thank you very much, saying Ewan Lenore for the win. See, I've watched Ewan for a little bit, I know a little bit of him, and I know he does like to make a very cheeky overtake, where sometimes it might not necessarily be on.
This is one of those circuits where you can make cheeky overtakes. There's great opportunities in every corner to make an overtake because of how some of the heavy braking zones are. And also, we haven't mentioned something that I love to mention every stream. It's my favourite tagline. DRS, Slipstream are going to be top quality around this circuit, because goodness me, are they powerful in this year's game.
Absolutely, and I don't feel like it gets enough of the justice that it perhaps might deserve, especially when it comes to the tracks like Kota. I feel like Kota's a really underrated one, and I also feel Austria's maybe oversighted a little bit, because everyone's got their mind on the DRS, but also that slipstream. It will just slowly tow you along for the first couple of laps, and then of course you've got the DRS chicken, you've got the DRS games, so it's all up in the air, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of people asking if a 0.6 is possible. I mean, realistically, we had a 0.8 for the pole here in F3. Maybe a 0.6.
Well, I think the best. I don't know what the best lap. What is the best time trial lap around this circuit?
I don't
That was
know,
the world
but
record for
you
it.
definitely didn't set it.
Well,
Probably,
no, of
probably
course
set
not.
by F1cheats.com. Because
Yeah, probably.
They've got their
Well,
bots out in force on the time trial sheet. It's horrible.
I will say that one thing, of course, these are equal cars.
Or as equal as we can get
As equal as they can get them to. But if you do this is a completely random fact, it doesn't matter at all, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you do a My Team mode and max out the car, you can get Austria in under 60 seconds.
Did you do it?
No,
Don't believe you, man.
but I've
Raucous.
seen other people do it.
Absolutely raucous, mate. But enough of us talking.
You didn't even move your
raucous.
head and your camera moved.
I know. What can I say? It just loves following me. It's a bit weird, to be honest, because if I move all the way over here, it just goes down. It's got like set parameters it's happy with. But
It's weird.
enough of us waffling, because I've got a very interesting thing to show you here, and it's to do with the weather. That's right. I was having you on. It's perfectly dry.
I was so excited for a second.
I know, and I absolutely got you. But because it is dry, I feel like that'll also add to a bit of a chaos at the starting laps.
Oh, of course.
I feel like if it was wet, the drivers might be a little bit more cautious, a bit more tentative when applying the throttle and the brakes. But because it is dry, I can see a couple people potentially trying to risk, overtakes which they could potentially try and get away with in the wet because of the amount of space drivers would be, a bit tentative to take up and use. But when it gets to the dry stages, they'll absolutely go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Are we gonna have a formation lap on, or am I gonna have to get prepared to?
I don't know.
Give us our lights out and away we go.
Get prepared.
I'm prepared. Well, here we go for your 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix, and we're underway. And everyone gets off the line well, and our pole sitter Alexander Dimas is into the lead and keeps his lead into turn 1 as we all lead our way through. Everyone going 2 wide, some people even going 3 wide, but everyone seems to still be facing the right direction. There seems to be a 3 wide moment towards the back as Oscar Villacampos is battling. They're going 4 wide now into the braking zone. That is ridiculously close, and somehow everyone's still facing the right direction. The Aston and the Mercedes of Kai and Slovenkovic getting very close together, and there's still a 3 wide moment there as people trying not to get boxed in on this opening. It's too late on the brakes from our Aston Martin driver, and he's definitely broken his wing there.
Yeah, that's Jane. Way too late on the brakes there. Chipped off his end plate. Very unfortunate start to a first lap, but it's got to happen to someone, especially around Austria, as we see the Aston Martins fighting tooth and nail there as well. But we're going to watch it back out in front. As we can see, Alexander Dimas with that 4/10 advantage. Now it'll be down to Sixton to use a little bit of that ERS. Just keep an eye on how much Dimas would be deploying as well, just so we could try and manage it until that DRS opens. But I do really want to quickly point out, Camille seems to be under a lot of pressure as well from Lillian, who's directly behind, who caught up by over a 10th in that straight. So Lillian definitely has a very slippy wing on the back of that Alpine car.
And of course Lillian running the medium tyre as well, so extra grip in these opening stages, and Lillian's already made that move up into 4th place. If we see the replay on the bottom right there of lap 1, everyone trying to stay out of the way of each other, as Lillian's actually going to make another move here on Andreas, and Lillian into 3rd as well. Wow, this is really kicked off for Lillian, as Leo's also making his way through the field. He's up into 10th now.
Yeah, so his medium tyres absolutely working wonders for Lillian so far. Has Sixton slightly further up the road. Kai Pearson as well, who's also made a good little shimmy up towards the field, despite the teammate, getting in a couple of instances. But Tomas, Jane and Matthew Adler have all pit off their hard tyres onto the medium, so they'll be looking to try and stretch that out for as long as they can, potentially even until the end of a race.
Yeah, hoping for a safety car as well. Into the 106s here for our race lap times.
That's like your qualifying time.
Hey, I at least do a 104. But yeah, Lillian here really pushing the limits of the Alpine car and trying to make these medium tyres work to try and get past the hard runners, which I imagine is the case of. I know for a fact that softer tyres around this circuit are so much better than the harder rubber. Hards tend to really struggle in the second phase. So these guys that started on the hard tyres are going to take the punishment.
Leo.
As I thought Leo Lund was sideways through that corner as he's wheel to wheel with the a Red Bull Ozfed, and they go wheel to wheel. Once again, it's not a place you tend to go wheel to wheel. We've seen Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez do this before, and luckily for Leo, he actually kept it on the circuit this time, unlike Charles, and he pulls to the right-hand side, and now he's going to stick behind the Red Bull for another lap. He is really pushing the limits of this Ferrari car.
Yeah, Schumacher was able to defend off that charging Ferrari directly behind. I've always wanted to say that, and now I've had a great opportunity to say it. But we do have the DRS once again in action for these front three. It'll be very interesting to see whether Lillian's going to slowly pace themselves and try and, you know, gauge an opportunity to overtake slightly better, or whether Lillian's going to be absolutely on a tear. As you can see, Sixton getting the move done on Dimas, Lillian taking that wide line, trying to get the cut back here. But Alexander Dimas does the correct thing and parks it directly on the apex, and he also picks up the DRS as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see Dimas trying to have a little run coming down here into turn 4. Might be a little bit too far back this time, but next time, going up the hill to turn 3 again, we can expect the lead to change places once again.
Yeah, this is what we're going to see probably a lot in this race, just changing every single lap. Lillian's probably going to try and make a move of their own shortly. A little lock-up there from one of the drivers. See, there's just some smoke spraying off there. Obviously, it's very easy to lock the rear tyres in this year's game as well, with the current model on the car. Leo's in a bit under pressure from Kai behind as well. Kai, of course, on those medium tyres, trying to make up places as well as Jane gets past Tumas towards the back of the grid. I imagine all three of those guys are trying to work together to build up closer to the field, because everyone was in DRS, everyone's in Slipstream. We're going to see a change for the lead again. Sixton is still in the lead, and here comes the Slipstream, here comes the effect of DRS, but Alexander Dimas sticks behind once again and doesn't go for a move. Neither does Lillian, actually, on this occasion. They are still close together, but not making moves as it stands. Or is Lillian going for one here? Going to go around the outside as they go 3 wide into turn 5, and they still go wheel to wheel. Lillian and Dimas going wheel to wheel as they were trying to pass the Williams. And Lillian's up the inside. They're so close to each other. This is ridiculous. And once again, Lillian has to back out. But goodness me, 3 cars into about 5 corners does not end well normally. But those guys were professionals.
I'm just absolutely astonished here. Once again, it reminds me of Vegas. Lillian just seems to have so much grip. As we see the McLaren behind go slightly wide, that allows Camille to sneak through there into P4. And also still get the DRS of these front 3 battling as well. But if you just notice Lillian's Delta and how it drops away because of the medium compound tyres, because Lillian is so good under traction, that time Delta just falls away. It just creates a brilliant opportunity for an overtake. And that's something that Camille will also notice behind in P4 as Dimas goes for the overtake down the inside. Doesn't seem to be too much of a fight put up there by Lindhart. I feel like these two are more than happy to work together, race side by side, go 2 wide, just stop Lillian from getting the overtake on the medium compound, but it doesn't look like it's stopping Lillian this time. Going for the double overtake down the straight, brakes very late, but Dimas brakes even late, and Lillian's going to be forced to the outside here for turn 5 and turn 6, and it's able to get the move done. Dimas probably backs off there just a little bit, knowing that Lillian was going to try and hang it around the outside, and it would just cost them both time. Dimas slots back in behind. Now it'll be down to Dimas and Sixton to work together to keep that DRS available on Lillian, so they can potentially get an overcut on them.
Goodness me, what a camera shot as well, by the way. If we could have that every single lap, please, that'd be amazing. But of course, we know how cameras can be a bit difficult in this year's game. But Lillian, yes, into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. But now it's going to be under the effect of DRS slipstream from behind. Of course, if you are the leader, you do not get any slipstream. You have to be behind a car and within 1 second of the car in front of you. So Dimas is got DRS and is trying to challenge Lillian, and down the inside into turn 3, and Dimas has now taken back the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's going to allow possibly a slipstream from Sixton, but Lillian still has DRS because they were behind into the detection zone, and Dimas will now have to sit behind as we head into what is turn 4, I believe, not turn 5.
Yes, now that little right-hander versus turn 5, it shouldn't really be a turn, but I do believe we've got an
yellow flag
towards the back of the field. I believe that's Wilson Hall and Timur Zelenkovic having a collision going down into turn 4 there. Perhaps
that's
maybe
unusual.
A little bit of a late braking move gone wrong, let's say. But both drivers were able to get going again. It doesn't look like Timur's got any damage on his wing. I'll tell you what, let's just take a sneak peek at Wilson there. Wilson doesn't seem to have too much damage on his wing either, so both of them
I imagine it was just a clumsy move.
Yes, potentially. Austria is one of those where one clumsy move can cost you a whole bunch of time. and especially if it involves and tangles up with another driver. But something here that Dimas is going to be very, very much aware of is the slipstream effect behind that Sixton's going to be getting from both of them. So Dimas might just want to tuck in here and try and follow Lillian through. Understand where Lillian's gaining that time, but Lillian was a little bit slow out that corner. Perhaps go, on the throttle a little bit later than the likes of Dimas was anticipating. So Dimas had to potentially lift there as well. But Dimas, still on the hard tyre, still all over the back of Lillian. When are these medium tyres going to start graining, Alex?
They tend to grain around lap 12 to 13, and then they'll be in that state for a while. And then they'll come back to you, but I do believe that we'll probably see a pit stop for the hard tyres around lap 15, 16-ish, I would imagine. But you can see that Lillian is already struggling for grip because that was not on the apex there for the Alpine driver, whilst Dimas was totally fine on these hard tyres. As I'd say, these hard tyres in the first stint, for some reason, are incredible, but in the second stint, they just seem to fade so much quicker. And I don't know if it's temperature-based or what it is, but my experience around this circuit of using the hard tyres and using the mediums is mediums so much better in the second stint, as Dimas takes back the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix ahead of Lillian. But Lillian seems to already be struggling for grip out of these corners.
I'm not sure if you noticed in this as well, but every single time Dimas goes for the overtake, he's slightly more aggressive than the last time he did the overtake. As we're going to see Lefted there try and get a move around the outside. Don't think it's on. Ended up getting a little bit of a swapper on there going through turn 4. It's a very difficult place to get an overtake, especially if you try around the outside. But we know Lefted has the pace. Lefted is a very talented driver. Lost out of position there to Rehards, who is also, yet again, another talented driver. You could say that for the entire roster of this F3 field, but the drivers, you can see the mistakes starting to creep in. You can see the pressure mounting on these drivers, following the other cars in the dirty air. Obviously, the ground effects make the dirty air slightly less prominent, but it's still just as effective on the wings as well. So that could be why some of these drivers are having a little bit of a tough time. Follow the drivers closely as we see them moving out, just to try and get a little bit of cool air into their tyres and into the brakes, just to make sure their car's working fine. Engine temps as well. That'll be something brilliant to keep an eye on throughout this entire race. Especially if you're Lillian, who's going for yet another overtake up into turn 3. Feel like we just need a permanent camera on turn 3, if I'm not wrong, Alex.
Yeah, camera turn 3 is exactly where the moves are going to go. Lefted has made a move past Rehards. Or has he? Because Rehards has got a great run out of the corner. Oh, that's not a place you want to go for a move, Ewan. But we've talked about Ewan before. Oh, goodness me. And down the inside. Oh, it's clumsy.
Left is round.
No, left is round. That was clumsy from Ewan. It was clumsy from Lefted. It was clumsy from everyone there. It looked like Lefted wasn't expecting, as we can see from the replay here, as Dimas still behind. So Ewan went for the overtake and a slight tap there from Ewan. But it looked like, I think Lefted had already committed to the dive bomb, and it just didn't, unfortunately, pay off in the end. And I think, Ewan's got to take as much fault as Lefted does for that incident.
That was a rough one. It's tough as well when they're fighting so hard for every sort of, millisecond on this track. Especially now they've dropped out of the DRS range as well. That's going to be such a heartbreak for the likes of you and Timo Wilson. With, Matthew, Jane and Tumas as well. All using the DRS of one another in that little backpack that they've, created at P18, 19 and 20. We're going to have to keep an eye on them to see how much they're going to disrupt the leaders, because at the minute, they'd still be in the net lead if these drivers pit at the front. Yeah,
a safety car or, anything could have still affect this race. And those guys at the back of the grid, if they're your favourite drivers, I wouldn't count them out yet. This is definitely not over by a long shot. So Lillian still leads here on lap 11 of 36. And of course, you can always upgrade your cockpit at GT Omega there on the right-hand side. But Dimas, obviously already having his own GT Omega cockpit, is running in P2. And he's really trying to push Lillian here. Lillian's tyres will be struggling very soon, if not already. And you see just Dimas pulling out to the right-hand side to get some clean air, as Josh was mentioning earlier. I love the fact in this year's game that you can get affected by dirty air a lot more. I think it's such a good added addition to the game, and it really makes these drivers think a lot harder. As Lefted also picked up a 3-second penalty for track limits. The day goes bad to worse for Lefted at the moment.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Had such a good qualifying. Had really great potential, and just gets caught up in one little instant, and then it all spirals downwards. Sometimes that's just the way it goes, but we know how resilient the drivers are in this division. They'll take anything with on the chin and keep moving forward, and that's something I expect Lefty to do throughout this race as well. Keeping their head down, keep the pressure on, and keep racing their heart out.
Yeah, Lefty's just got to stay in the right frame of mind.
Absolutely. Something that I know a certain sim racer who may or may not be in the cockpit who, you know, perhaps can't necessarily get himself in the right frame of mind sometimes, and will struggle a little bit.
Who's that?
I'm not saying. It's a secret.
I thought you were talking about me for a second.
No, mate, you're not driving.
Well, that's true. I was gonna say I'm not in the cockpit, but like that nails me down to a T, mate.
Yeah, well...
It's like,
oh dear.
Come on, anything goes wrong, and I'm just like, oh god, this is it.
I'll break inside turn 1, that's that. But
I genuinely have the worst mental state in the world in terms of gaming. It's the worst thing.
Someone who's got a lot better of a mental state than you at the minute, Alex, is going to be Camille, who's started to notice these drivers pulling out of the necessary slipstream that Lillian's created at the front, and it's kind of slipping into it and just, you know, taking it a little bit easier. And it's starting to catch the drivers, especially under braking, going into turn 3 and turn 4. Is Camille here in the Ferrari? Now, we know Camille, very, very fast driver.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they seem to have honed in on the racecraft for this week around Austria, understanding exactly when to push, how often to try and duck out the way for a bit of clean air as well. Very impressive drive so far from Camille, but you know, I'm not going to rule them out of the podium. I feel like with the right circumstances, they could even potentially be on for the win here.
Yeah, it's definitely not over. Every one of these drivers has still got an opportunity to win this race. Genuinely, it's crazy when I say that. But like everyone that's in this DRS train right now is within a chance of winning this race because anything can happen between, what is it, about 15 drivers battling for position. Like it's really not like as done as we think it is. As Andreas has made a move on Rahard, and Rahard is trying to battle back there to try and get back in front of the McLaren driver. They're wheel to wheel actually. Through turn 4 to the inside. Oh, and through the middle goes Rahard. And what a move from Rahard that was. But it was all set up by Andreas diving down the inside. Apology, headphone users, for that. But goodness me, what a move from Rahard.
Tell you what, it was so nice. Might as well see it twice. That was an absolutely stunning move there from Rahard. Being able to pick his way through that little catastrophe. I mean, it's typical, isn't it? I mentioned Camille, and you know, all of a sudden Camille gets pushed off a track. Very unfortunate for Camille, but again, it's about the mental state, and it's about bouncing back and trying to push themselves further. I'm sure
saucy move.
Looking at that one as well, but Andres Lopez lucky as well to get out without any scrapes or bruises. But Rahard now will be on a march, trying to close that 7th and 10th gap all the way down, as we do have a driver in the pit lane, and I believe that's lefted.
No, he's not in the pit lane. That's on the pit. That's on the final corner. He spun it on the final corner as Andreas goes up the inside of Rahard once again, and this man is in a mood to make another position here as he looks to get back in front of the man that managed to go through the middle of him on the last lap, and he's now into 4th place. Leo currently in 6th. The man with the 100% podium record here in F3, that is currently slipping away from him as Camille is in front of Oscar Villacampos, but Villacampos dives to the inside, and Camille is going to get pushed out wide here, and Camille is going to lose not only 1, but maybe 2 places, as the Haas is also on the charge. Oh, Camille, it's all falling apart within a few laps for you, mate.
I thought Camille was really going to get the double overtake up from Tony Roche and Villacampa out of turn 4 there, but unfortunately, Villacampa was able to put up a stern defence as Kai comes into the pit lane, so surely we're going to be watching to see whether Lillian is going to also pit next lap. We're, of course, almost at half race distance here. 2 laps until we reach that point. Mediums have done a stellar job so far for those running them. But I feel like a safety car could definitely spice this up.
Well, it's definitely going to spice up something if we get a safety car, that's for sure. Kai, of course, onto those hard tyres. I expect Lillian will also want to be interested in coming into the pits because Kai wasn't too far behind everyone. And Lillian does not want to be jumped by someone else doing the same strategy. That will be the last thing Lillian wants. So if Kai gets a good outlap here, you never know. Maybe Kai could get in front of Lillian when Lillian pits.
I mean, potentially.
It'll be closer than you think, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It'll be definitely a close one, but we're also going to have to keep in mind how you know, how apparent it is when a driver has fresher tyres. It's like insane. As a couple of you guys have pointed out, Camille seems to be targeted for some heinous actions. I don't believe YouTube terms of service allow me to say that word out loud. But yeah, it's been very unfortunate for Camille so far during this race. But still in P6, teammates up the road, going to be able to pick up the DRS if Leo, you know, is feeling generous. All's not over.
Some hard runners in as well. Rahards and Oscar pitting at the same time. That I imagine that call was if he pits, stay out, or if they both pit. It's one of those things where you can't really guess what the other driver's going to do. But Kai did get in front of them, so the undercut did work.
Yeah, as Lefted retires from a session in the pit lane.
Andreas is into third.
Understandable from how the race has been going so far. But yeah, Andreas, right, okay, was in P4 for a long time until he did make that mistake. And I believe it was Camille got in front, if I'm not mistaken. He's had decent pace, so it'll be very interesting to sort of see how he's going to be able to hone himself in to this battle up here at the front. He's got past Sixton, as I believe that'll be Lillian who's diving in the pits.
It will be.
Very close there to the front wing of Alexander Dimas.
Such an awful pit entry. Such an awful pit
It
entry.
is horrible, but I don't know. I'm not sure whether we're going to come out here. As Kai got the move done on Timo. He's looking to get the move done on Wilson here as well. Go through the penultimate corner. Brilliant brave move.
Oh!
As we've got Oscar Villacampa going a little bit wide. Timo's
He's done it again!
Pushing up a little bit of a fight there. We've got Sven Schumacher as well up there. And it will be Kai getting the jump on Lillian.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Yes, he's got it. That'll be a little bit of something for Lillian to keep in mind. But Lillian also won't have the DRS, so that'll open the opportunity for Rehards to get a double overtake. Down the inside, heading up into turn 3. Brilliant move there from Rehards.
And once again, those medium tyres have worked wonders, as I thought they would. As Rehards is now up into 6th place ahead of Kai and ahead of Lillian. Didn't know if you put it up. Oscar got a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
I didn't even notice. I was so engrossed in the fight in there. But we do have overtake done by Ewan on Sven. And I believe Bogdan also might have got a move done. But okay, never mind. Hold the phone. I'm going to stop talking. Because Sven Schumacher took that one a little personally. He said, this fight's not over. I'm still going. And he's been able to pull off an absolute worldie of an overtake.
Andreas is in the pits right now. Andreas is in the pits. He's putting on medium tyres. So, Leo is still running in third here. The undercut is super powerful, as we've got a 105.6 for Rahards. Rahards will be leading this Grand Prix when everyone pits.
It's down to 14 seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere because this race is about to pick up. Tony Rahards has retired session. That's going to be a safety car because that's turn 1. Surely. No, it's not. It's not a safety car. He's absolutely binned it turn 1 by the looks of it, and it's not a safety car. Wow.
Okay, interesting.
Lucky.
It is very lucky. A couple of these drivers wouldn't have minded a free stop.
The marshals done well to clear that up quickly.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to seemingly teleport the car off the track. Brilliant work from them. Austrians are just built different, I'm telling you. But
Leo carries on.
The first 2 of the pits, but Leo stays out.
He's going softs.
You think?
There's no way he'd stay out otherwise. Unless he wants fresher medium tyres.
Is it too much of a risk? I feel like it's too much of a risk.
It's sure to. Dimas and Linhart have got a lot of work to do, by the way.
Yes. I mean...
Oh my goodness me, they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
They're only just in front of that pack that pitted originally.
Yeah, the field's also starting to spread out as well, which is going to cause them a few worries. Perhaps a couple of them are going to start losing touch of DRS, but even then, it's still, you know, a 6th, 7th, 10th gap. That'll take 1 or 2 laps to close up to. And we've only got 16 laps remaining of this Grand Prix, so it'll be very interesting when it gets towards the dying stage to see how far they've been able to come and how far they will be fighting each other, as we see a little glimpse of that with Sixton already going down the inside of his, let's say, tire management buddy, of Alexander Dimas. Making it intense.
Leo's in.
Leo goes in.
So not soft tyres. No, because he's not going to take them 16 laps.
No.
Not even I could do that. And I'm a madman with soft tyres. So medium tyres will go on for Leo. He will have the freshest tyres out there, but he will have the most work to do.
Absolutely. Oh no, how many times we've seen the McLarens have a fight around here?
McLaren's battling around Austria.
God, it couldn't be.
Couldn't be anything
Take it
else.
back
So
to
Leo
the
comes out in
90s.
12th.
As we could see, Andres as well, getting
30.
nice and close up to the back of Villacampa. Villacampa got a penalty,
Oh,
so he shouldn't make this fight too difficult, but he still holds his own there, not intending to let Andres through. Perhaps, you know, a little firework might be going off down at McLaren at the minute.
Pew! That's the firework.
That's not a firework, mate.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, sure, it's a firework.
Do you want me to do it like a fizz one?
Yes. There we go. Thank you. I was waiting for that. Pop.
That's the...
But yeah, we can see the McLarens following each other so closely throughout that entire second sector. And I do believe it might be down to the tyre differential of just having 2 lap pressure medium tyres on Andres' car.
Yeah. I think that is genuinely the main reason why. And Andreas has been really quick this afternoon anyway. We're going to pulse the inside here. Camille into turn 1. No, I thought he was going to go for a move to turn 1. That would have been definitely interesting. A 1:04.7. That's some people's pole time around here. As we see the McLarens go wheel to wheel for position, Andreas shouldn't really have to worry about Oscar fighting that one too hard because of Oscar's time penalty. Andreas has got a chance to go win this race. He really does.
Certainly, I'd prefer to say I think my money would have to be on Andreas so far in this. But chat, we are eager to know your opinions. Who do you think is going to be able to secure the race win? Because at the minute it's all very much up in the air. Different tyre strategies. We've got the race clutch duo at the Alpine as well, who we've seen work together numerous times throughout this championship already. The Alpine's going to be, taking the initiative on this one and holding up the field a little bit. I could definitely see that one happening. Is Kai Pearson going to be able to unleash his true potential and retain that P3, or is he going to start making a charge in towards Lillian and Rehards as well? It's all still to play for here at the Austrian GP.
It's definitely all still to play for. Lillian did get past Kai on that lap, so it's currently a Alpine 1-2, as it was in Vegas as well, I believe, wasn't it? So Kai is really not going to get this one up easily, but Lillian going for the race lead, and they're going to go past Rehards. But Kai is also going to go past Rehards as well, and Kai takes second, and now might get a decent run for the lead of the Grand Prix. As also Camille is also battling Oscar Villacampos, and Rehards is back into second as well, and it's still an Alpine 1-2. Down the inside goes a AlphaTauri, down the inside goes a Ferrari, so Dimas into 6th. And everyone's moving up positions. Leo's also trying to move up positions. He's actually going to get a move on Kai. Kai's down to 12th. What's going on here?
I don't know. I feel like we had a little bit of lag.
I think he had a bit of lag. He's fallen all the way down to 12. That's such a shame for Kai if it is lag, because now he's on 7-lap-old hard tyres, and he's just completely collapsing through the field.
I just realised Timur and Wilson are still on hard tyres.
Yeah, they haven't pitted yet. Actually, no, they have. They did pit. But
that's bold.
They're gonna stay out. Someone's front wing just flew off there. Whose was that?
I dread to think. What colour was
Someone's front. I don't know.
Snow.
It was snow cut. Dimas is into 5th as there is moves going on throughout the field there. Ewan's up into 9th. Sven down into 10th. Leo is also in 11th. He's getting pushed right to the edge of the thing. Villacampos is losing places. Alexander Dimas is past Linhart. And Linhart down into 6th. But no, he's not, because he's still got it up the inside. Leo's into 9th as well. What is going on in these first couple of laps? As we said, as if Sven is losing place. I think it's Sven's front wing. Yeah, it is Sven's front wing. It's a Red Bull. The Red Bulls around the Red Bull ring. Not having the best afternoon here.
Yeah, just to clarify in chat, we believe Kai had a little bit of lag and went back a little bit on circuit, which is very unfortunate for Kai's race. But there's still a lot of potential. Incidents can happen. A safety car could come out as well. It's not all lost as Bogdan makes a move to the inside of Oscar Villacampa. Easy as you like. A Mercedes climbs up, elevates himself up into P7 as they ride up the mountain to turn 3.
And Leo's got the move down on Villacampos as well. He might consider the move on Bogdan shortly, as the Alpines have decided Screw team orders. We're going wheel to wheel, ladies and gentlemen. We got a yellow flag in the first sectors for a Williams of Matthew Adler. And down the inside. Oh, and then right to the edge. There was Andreas. He was pushed right to the edge by Rahard. And now to the right-hand side, he blocks him off. And Camille is now blocking off the Williams of Linhart. This race, ladies and gentlemen, is far from done as Leo is now into 7th. Leo also still has a chance to finish inside the top 3. And Rahard is doing some great team play defending against Andreas here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to rule anyone out of this race, to be completely honest with you, Alex, because I feel like anything can happen. That's one of the beauties of sim racing. It's one of the beautiful things here at PSGL as well. All the drivers are so diverse and talented with you know, their abilities, their competency, their understanding, their knowledge of how this sim works and how they're going to try and use it to the most of their advantage. And so far, it looks like the Alpines, or maybe even the race clutch drivers here in this division, currently hosting the top 3 and 5th place. They're doing absolute worldies at the minute. These drivers are going to be no strangers, as Linhart is looking down the inside of Camille. We know Camille's a late break here, but it's not late enough as Linhart loses the rear. Able to catch it once again. I wish the game gave us a better camera angle than a front wing. For heaven's sake, I'm begging you, Codemasters. As
just give us a camera option
around the outside of turn 6. That is fantastic.
Oh, what a move. I'd love to show you a replay of that in a better camera angle, but unfortunately it's not possible in the current edge of the game. But yeah, you can see on board right around the outside, and Camille was fully committed to try and defend that, but there was no way that he was stopping Linhart getting through. Dimas down, still behind Camille. Dimas has been trying to follow Linhart basically through alongside each other, try and get themselves up into the top 3, and it looks like Linhart has the best opportunity right now. Leo's got to try and get past his teammate as soon as he can because Leo's got the freshest tyres, and Camille will defend to the inside, but he can't defend too much, but just enough on the brakes as Camille also almost has his teammate go straight into the back of him, and Camille surely has to think about letting his teammate pass soon as well because Leo's got to have an opportunity to try and get these front 3.
Surely, you would think at that point, you know, 2 lap fresher tyres, then the current P3 member, surely Leo's going to have a run at them.
I would say so. Leo has an opportunity to at least finish inside the top 4 here. Obviously, didn't help himself with his qualifying. That is something he's got to improve on. He'll know that. Obviously, no longer a reserve driver, now a full-time driver for Ferrari alongside Camille. Basically been there all season, and Leo, as we said, second in the driver's standings, but is at risk at the moment of losing his podium streak as he's running in 6th behind his Ferrari teammate. Surely Camille's got to give this up now.
Yeah, you would think Leo there with DRS wide open, pulls to the outside. Camille's definitely not making this one easy for him, is he?
Camille's not making it easy. We'll defend the inside as much as he can. It's going to force Leo to go around the outside. Traction zone or not, Leo will surely get the better run because he's got the outside line and DRS. And at that side, Camille does not fight that one too badly. But down the inside, oh, Andreas looks to go around the outside. And Andreas is battling cars in front of him that have older tyres than he does. And to the inside goes Andreas Lopez. He's thinking about making a move like Camille tried to defend before, and Andreas is into 2nd place ahead of Rahard. What a move that was for the McLaren driver. And now he can set after the championship leader, Lillian, who's looking to win 3 races in a row. But Andreas has come out of nowhere. McLaren, like they did in real life, found their upgrade, found their voice in Austria, and Andreas has a chance of winning this afternoon.
Absolutely, it's going to be down to chasing down Lillian, and to just to see really what Rahard is going to be able to do. Potentially just being a pain in Lopez's gearbox, just trying to make him a bit uncomfortable under braking. Maybe snatch a brake, maybe run it a little wider, maybe miss a couple apexes. Anything possible that Rahard is going to be able to do to try and deter Lopez from having this absolute charge of a century in this little papaya car all the way up to the back of Lillian's rear view mirror. It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting as well because, of course, another yellow flag. That's in the first sector. Again, cars going slowly shouldn't cause enough for a safety car. There's no damage there for certain cars. But, of course, we got this Williams of Linhart really pushing Rahard through as well. Rahard has done a fantastic job. You can't say anything bad against that man. But once again, Lillian's still finding the grip on those hard tyres. They will go longer in this race, and I think these mediums will start running out soon. So Andreas is really going to try and make this happen sooner or later. Because if he doesn't make it happen now, it's not going to happen because we are running out of laps here.
Yeah, when the mediums for Andres and Rihards start to wear off, that's where we'll see the likes of Sixten, Leo and Camille really start mounting a little bit of pressure. I'm sure Camille will be trying to follow Leo through at every opportunity he has, as
he's got a good run.
Be starting his hunt down, trying to get past Alexander Dimas on the one lap older tyres. Makes easy work of him into the braking zone of turn 3. Next on the list, the next one who's been naughty or nice is Lindhart, currently in P4. I'm sure he'll be hunting for that one as well, as Oscar also picks up a bit of a time penalty. But Thomas Lamminen seems to be having a very rough race out here so far today. Went wide in the final corner, which brought out a yellow flag, and has gone wide around turn 7.
Yeah, it's not going well for the Red Bull driver. A race he'll want to forget. The leaders are coming up towards that sector, but I imagine we're going to see the Red Bull driver pull towards the pits very shortly. I think he is ghosted anyway, so it shouldn't really affect too much in terms of things. That's another crash into the wall there, is he?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I hope for his sake he lost control of the wheel. And it
yes, I do as well.
To try and bring out a safety car. But he's still moving.
He's still moving, so that's not going to cause a safety car.
To continue.
No, I think I pinged him back into the pits.
Okay, good. I was about to say, I'm not sure how I'd feel about that one. As Sixten makes the move on Rihards, or at least tries to. He's got the position on the outside. Rihards has to leave his space on the outside. I believe Sixten's got that, hasn't he? He's got the traction down. It's absolutely
Leo's
beautiful.
there.
And Leo's going to be looking to try and follow it through here. You can already
Leo's
see
right there.
the couple laps earlier to get the undercut isn't paying out for Rihards at the minute, because he's just struggling so much with, 4 3-lap older tyres. It's going to be a tight squeeze here as Leo looks to go to the inside. Not a move on there just yet, but I reckon give it maybe another 2 laps on those tyres for Rihards, and Leo should be able to pull off a move like that, similar to what we saw before.
He's got to make this move count. 5 laps to go when we cross the line. It'll actually be 4 laps to go when we cross the line, because right now, Lillian's still in control of this race. Andreas cannot close the gap. Lillian's still doing a fantastic job of keeping those tyres alive. And right now, it could be Lillian 3 in a row for the Alpine driver into turn 1. Leo really trying to get the grip down, get the power down. He's got to get in front of Rihards here to try and make that move stick into turn 3. Can he make the move? He's down the inside. He switches back to the outside line because he knows he'll have the extra grip out of the corner. But Rihards is still with DRS and still with Sixten, and this is the issue for Leo Lund. Everyone has DRS and everyone has the ability to stick behind and just stay with them, no matter how much extra grip you have. Right now, Leo cannot do anything to get past these cars in front, and it must be frustrating in that cockpit.
Yeah, he's almost in, a somewhat of a purgatory state here in this mid-pack, because he can't seem to really get the necessary grip he needs to try and make a move on Rihards. Rihards defending very well going up into turn 3. But we know Leo's not afraid to go for a cheeky move somewhere else. We've seen it already in this race. We saw it last week. So I wouldn't count Leo out.
Well, he's got to try and make a move soon, because otherwise his 100% podium streak in F3 will be going bye-bye this afternoon. But we still have a long way to go. 3 laps to go in Formula 1 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. And up towards turn 3 now. Leo, will he go for the move? He goes down the inside. He's gone really deep because Rihards has tried to make the move on Lindhart as well. And that may have cost Rihards, because that was a desperation move from the Alpine driver, because he knew he had to stay in front of the Ferrari driver, and he won't give this up at all, but he might have to, because the extra grip for Leo, he pushes Rihards out wide, and Leo, in a bit of a scuffed move, has made it through, but not scuffed on Leo's part, a bit of a scuffed defence on Rihards' part. That is what we call desperate, and it might have cost Lindhart an opportunity at a podium finish as well.
Potentially. It was a very, very late lunge down the inside there. A little bit of wheel bagging from Leo Lund in order to get the past him. Very, very, hard racing, but I'm sure Rihards will understand the situation. He kind of turned across as well. It'll be up for the stewards to debate that one, I reckon. But Leo, right now, I'm sure he doesn't have a care in the world. He's just thinking about getting a march on, putting the pressure on Lopez and Lillian up the road.
Andreas is having a march as well. He sees that Leo is closing in. That that light flashing in the back of Leo's car. It's not a braking light. No point of braking lights in Formula 1. It's a light to say that he is under 10% ERS, and he is in trouble in terms of your ERS. And if you are under 10% of ERS around Austria, which is pretty much all straights, you're going to struggle down the main straights. Andreas has 2 laps to try and get Lillian here. Leo has 2 laps to get them both. Who is going to win this Austrian Grand Prix? Will it be the person that's had 2 wins in a row, the Alpine driver of Lillian? Will it be Andreas looking for their first victory this season? Leo looking for their first victory this season. They've been on the podium a few times, but not actually won the race. But also don't count Rahaz, because Rahaz is right there, still within a chance of a podium finish if something goes wrong in front.
Yeah, if anything happens towards this battle of a front three, it could all be up in the air. Rihaz could be through as well. It'll be very interesting to see. Don't forget Dimas as well. He's also on a bit of a tear, so Sixten might not even be safe in P5. There's a lot of potential for these places to switch around in the last 2 laps, but it'll be the second to last time they'll be going up this hill to turn 3. The penultimate one.
Oh, he's going for it.
As he goes,
he's played his cards. He's played his cards.
And I feel like that's a wise move to do. He's got to get a car in between himself and Leo. Leo has the fresher tyres. Leo's going to be more of a threat than Lillian, especially on the rebound attack down this straight into turn 4. But Lillian is absolutely nothing to scoff about either. Lillian will be looking at every opportunity to use the ERS, the DRS, the slipstream, the setup, the downforce acquired, and every little last millimetre of grip or surface area on those hard compounded tyre, just to try and get some sort of progression through to keep close to Lopez, to maybe try and go for maybe another desperation lunge to keep on top of this race and try and reclaim P1.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 35 laps, heading on to lap 36 of the Austrian Grand Prix here for F3. It's Andreas, it's Lillian, it's Leo, all battling for the victory here. And Andreas leads us on this final lap, but it's all to play for. Any one of these 3 could still win, as Camille picks up a 3-second time penalty in behind. That's going to cost him big places. But could this cost Lillian? Looks to the inside, dives down the inside, and takes back the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. And look at the flashing light on the back of Andreas' car. There's not going to be a chance for a dive bomb because they've used all their ERS. And surely Lillian might have secured another victory here in Formula 3. Did Andreas play his cards too early? Because Lillian has played it absolutely perfectly. Can Leo find a way past Lillian? Sorry, find a way past Andreas, because Lillian looks to have easily won the Austrian Grand Prix once again. The Alpine driver. It's won in Hungary. It's won in Vegas. And today at the Austrian Grand Prix, with 1 corner to go, they'll win in Austria. It's 3 in a row for Lillian. Andreas will come home in 2nd place. Leo in 3rd, as Rads has sent it into the pit wall in 4th. Dimas in 5th. Ivan finishes in 6th. Bogdan in 7th. Kai in 8th. Ewan in 9th. And Camille does round out your top 10. There was a lot of incidents on that last lap when we were watching the front 3. I don't know exactly what happened, but somehow Ivan, who was on that alternative strategy, has finished in 6th place.
I can't quite wrap my head around what's just happened there. That was... Right, okay. I'm trying to work out how Ivan got there in my head. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. But of course, we do have to congratulate our race winner, Lillian, who ends up with yet another win here in F3. Makes it 3 on the bounce. Will we be able to try and make it 4? I don't know. I feel like we're going to have to keep an eye out. And,
Josh, there is one way Lillian could make it 4 in a row.
I'm fully aware. I do believe it might have something to do with a setup. Because I heard, right, rumour has it, if you end up using a GT Omega setup, you gain 2 temps on your race pace every lap.
I heard that too.
And it's back to us. So I apologise for the flashbang of hair I've just shown you all, for those of you who weren't here for the start. But my word, what a fantastic race. Hopefully we'll be able to get a little word in with the podium runners. But
Leo is waiting.
Leo Lund, let's bring him in. Leo, from 14th on the grid, you managed to keep up your 100% podium record. How does that one feel, mate?
It feels good, but I'm so sweaty.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough one. You had some very heated battles. You had heated battles with your teammate as well. Do you want to run us through anything in that race in particular?
Yeah, I started off with my strat. I wanted to overcut and have better tires. Yeah, I thought I would come out P9, but it was way longer back, so that kind of destroyed my race a little bit, so I had to work very hard to get up. But yeah, I wanted that win so bad, but sadly did not get it.
It's unfortunate, but on the bright side, we do have to take a look and notice that you are a full-time driver now, so there's a chance. I'm sure the win will come. I can almost guarantee that one.
Yeah.
Alex.
Oh, me. Sorry, that's my job to ask questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Leo, 100% record still in podiums, of course, without a win, which is always a shame. I'm sure that win will come. Did you on that last lap? Because Andreas, I thought you were watching him. They were battling with Lillian. Do you think Andreas played their hand too early? Because they seemed to go for the move the lap before, and they didn't have any ERS to really attack afterwards. So did you have a lot of ERS to play with? Because I know you had to have a big battle to get up to that position, or was it sort of like, I'm just going to sort of stick here and hope something happens in front of me, and then go from there?
I did like on the last lap or lap before, I had like 20% because I think I wasted like 40% on rehards and sixten to try get them. But yeah, I could not do anything. I had no ERS. But if Scotty did not overtake Lillian, I think we both will get him because he had old tires.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
But yeah,
Well,
nevertheless.
that's all my questions, Josh.
Brilliant race, Leo. Congratulations on keeping up the podium. How do you feel about the next track on the calendar, which I'll just pull up on screen for everyone here. It is Monza.
Oh, yeah, it's a great track.
Ferrari's home track as well. Can't mess up there, Leo.
Yeah.
That first win there, mate. Come on, it's destined in the stars. That's
No,
how you
I
do
will
it.
bother.
No, don't.
Don't bottle it.
Fan, Leo,
That's a Ferrari curse. Don't do it.
as a Ferrari fan, Leo, I'm trusting you to get a win there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hope.
Okay. No pressure,
Yeah.
but pressure. So, how do you feel about Monza?
I don't have drive it very much, but it's a fun track. I like it.
Have you driven it on this game yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than Austria. Yeah, last week when no one had driven it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you, Leo. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Another great race for you. And maybe we'll speak. Well, of course,
Yeah,
we'll speak
thank
to
you,
you
thank you.
in Monza because you're gonna keep that 100% record up
And you're gonna
all
win.
season.
You're gonna win.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All good.
Let's
Thank
win.
you very much, Leo.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Leo.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
We've got Lillian in the pit box.
Yep.
In the pit box? In the waiting room.
Sure. Bring Lillian in. Lillian, I mean, firstly, how you kept those tyres alive is something else, and secondly, as well, also have a special someone in chat currently rooting for you. It's I believe it might be one of your siblings, Sebastian.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
father. My
Your
father,
father. Absolutely
Yeah.
loving it. He's cheering you on in the chat. It was brilliant to watch. So respect there to Sebastian, Lillian's father. Thank you for joining and taking part in the stream. But of course, how did you find that race?
Honestly, during the quali, yeah, my last lap, I completely cheated, honestly. So P8 at the start. We try something to start on the medium box. I think it was lap 17, yeah. And after work with my teammates, Andres, Ryards, and 610. We were stronger today.
Yes.
For me and Andres, it's finished really well, but for 610 and Ryards, not like we wanted. But overall, for me, third time 3 in a row.
Yes.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy, and yeah, let's continue like that, and maybe not choke the next quali.
I mean, it's Monza, so if you choke it
Yeah.
there, I'm sure you won't be alone.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a tough one. But yeah, let's get your opinions on Monza while we're on this subject. How do you feel about the circuit? Have you raced it yet on this year's game?
No, I did not race Monza on this game because I'm only racing the PSGL races. And
Okay.
yeah, on the F1 2022, I was really confident on it. But yeah, we will see. We will see
Okay.
next week.
Interesting, very interesting. Alex, you seem poised to make a question.
Oh, I was gonna basically ask you the same question that I asked Leo. Is obviously you had Andreas battling you behind, and I thought Andreas was gonna wait until that last lap to really try and make a move on you for the lead, but he seemed to go on the lap before, which was a bit interesting because considering even though you had more worn tires, you seemed to have more ERS. So did you think he was gonna go for it there, or were you quite happy for him to go in front and you thought, oh, I'll just get him on the last lap, sort of thing?
We were at the same battery before he overtook me, and I was like, okay, he goes, okay, we will see. And I saw him use a lot of battery during the end of the lap, and at the second straight of the lap, I saw him flashing, and I was at 40%. So I decided to overtake, and I know with my advantage of the battery, I will stay in front. So yeah, bit surprised to see him overtake him at the lap before, but yeah, it can be a strategy. It can be a strategy, but it didn't working this time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant race once again, Lillian.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully, we'll get the chance to talk to you at Monza, but I have already put all my eggs in the basket of Leo. I've got a route for my Ferrari in front of the Tifosi, but I do wish you the best of luck securing P2 and P3 because leave that position for Leo.
Yeah.
All good. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Lillian.
you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
good evening, mate. Cheers.
Lovely bloke.
That's it.
Honest.
Lovely.
But
Well, that's all our interviews because Andreas, unfortunately, I don't think he's coming in for an interview today. So.
yeah, that also concludes our stream here for today. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining myself and of course the one who has less blonde hair than me now.
Yeah.
It's been good fun around Austria, and I'm very excited to see what Monza should bring. It should bring some carnage, a little bit of mayhem.
The Temple of Speed.
It's called that for a reason. It's
Yeah. Because it's not the fastest track on the calendar anymore.
no, still a bit salty, but I'll cry about it tonight instead.
Is it now the third fastest? Because isn't Vegas second?
Should be, yeah.
Because it's Saudi, Vegas,
Monza. It should be, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Can't wait. Isn't? Oh, well, what about Qatar?
no.
Oh.
No. Just no. But nevertheless, thank you everyone for watching. It's
Still
been an
a
absolute
podium
pleasure.
finish.
As always, looking forward to Monza. We'll see you here next Thursday at 7 PM for a bit of Tifosi action. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Up here is through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.